So in the previous video, we went over various techniques on how to extend your skipping rope practice, how to basically add more minutes to your jump rope sessions by addressing specific areas of fatigue, whether it's your legs, your calves, and how to help the front part of your deltoids when you're feeling that burn and it's preventing you from going on for these like 10-minute or 20-minute sessions. But today, I have a few more very specific tips that are going to help you with that front deltoid burn, and what I didn't speak about last time, which has become more of an actual problem for me, the rear shoulder deltoid burn. Basically, the muscles at the back of your shoulders that help hold your posture together while you're skipping. Now, I know that not everyone may be able to do these, so please don't discount the actual video yet, but it's absolutely incredible how this fraction of a second when you're doing a side swipe or a crossover can give you some relief when you're experiencing pain either in the front deltoid or the rear. You're basically momentarily taking away some of the tension from that static hold that we're in for so long when we're jumping rope, a position that you hold for a pretty lengthy amount of time. So if you can't do the side swipe yet, then definitely get on it. Start learning this right away. You'll be blown away as to how simple the actual movement is once you get it down. And by the time you see this video, I may already actually have a YouTube short version on it, so make sure to check out my playlist below to get you started with that. Now, as for crossovers, while I didn't realize this initially when I started getting that rear shoulder pain, they were my absolute savior in terms of how they could temporarily relieve that strain, give me a little bit of that fatigue relief just by this simple fraction of a second movement. Basically the action of bringing my elbows together, because now it's the opposite of this held in tight position that we're normally in. Bringing your elbows across one another momentarily is similar to stretching out that rear deltoid, stretching out that shoulder. Now, for anyone that can't do crossovers or even side swipes, I do have a solution for you. Now, you may have seen other people doing this in their jump rope videos, typically at the start of their session when they're warming up or they're getting into the rhythm, and please don't laugh because I don't actually know what this thing is called when it's being done. But if anyone can enlighten me in the comments as to what this is actually called, that would be super helpful. Anyway, I know it's not the easiest thing to transition from jumping with two hands to bringing it over to one hand to do whatever this thing is called. The same as it's tricky to do it in the opposite way, where you got it going with one hand and then you're splitting it over eventually into two hands. But it's totally okay if you need to stop for a second to do this, to get it going. Because ultimately it's really just your practice that's going to help you kind of get the coordination to bring both hands into it. So whether you can or can't side swipe or crossover, getting this motion down from single hand to two hands doesn't just look badass. It's a really great technique to give your shoulders a little bit of a break, and since you're maintaining a hopping, jumping motion while you're doing this, you're not really halting your skipping session. So it's one of those great things to help increase and lengthen the level of stamina, lengthen the time that you're actually jumping rope for, so you can hit these new milestones for yourself. And then there's another thing to mention here, especially for you guys that don't know how to do crossovers yet, is that you can essentially do crossovers, or at least the crossover action, with the two handles in your hand, just like what you're watching right now. And this again is going to help to pull your arms and your shoulders away from that position that they've been holding for so long to give you a little bit of a break so that you can go for longer. This is one of the top techniques that helped me get over that hurdle to actually getting into these sessions that are longer than 10 minutes. And for a next level tip, I realized that people tend to start out quite wide armed. They're jumping rope with their arms really far out, which is going to put a lot more strain on the shoulder joint, and you're probably going to end up by virtue rotating your shoulders. So you essentially want to imagine that the top end of your arms are freaking glued to your torso while you're jumping. As long as you keep it like this, all of the force is going to be going towards your wrists, and there's going to be less force and tension on your actual shoulders.